Hey Ratbags, it's Jade. Today I'm going to go through some potential fixes on how to solve the problem with crashing with your FPS. A lot of you guys know the problem. It's the black ants maybe hoarding food, but it isn't just the black ants, it's also other ant hills as well. Pretty simplistic, but at the moment that might be your best bet if you've got loads of reduced frame rates and stuff like that, just making the game not run well. I was going to show you a quick easy fix, although it may be a bit too cheesy, for getting rid of the Mantis lag crashing your Xbox. Also, if you're a bit of a nerd for stats, there's a couple things that have come out today. The wiki has been updated by Chillax and Envi, aka Spicy, and they've updated the amount of damage, or what type of damage bugs actually do. So why is this useful? Well, it really settles exactly what kind of mutations might be better against bugs. Things like Spicy Safety, we now know definitively what bugs cause that particular type of damage and what it will protect against. And that's not all. Someone has also compiled all the armor stats, like everything, every effect, how much it regenerates by, the amount of damage output. Now you can see a lot of these stats in game, but it's not always 100% clear because they use the bar way of doing it. But they also stat it up to show side by side and really give a good breakdown. So if you're someone that loves min-maxing, you're getting into grounded now and you're debating about what type of armors to upgrade, you might definitely want to check out this Reddit post. And lastly, last night in my big video talking about toxicity in the game, I did mention that there might not be a hotfix till next week. I think I might have got that slightly wrong. It does look like maybe the patch will be next week with more changes, but there could be a potentially a hotfix for some of these issues I'm going to help you with. If it doesn't happen till next week, then try what I'm about to show you. Otherwise, yeah, you may want to pray that hotfix arrives in the next couple of days. Now, it's not apparently just the black anthill that's got a problem with ants hoarding food. It's also other areas too. So you might want to come to this area of the map. This is where a lot of the ants seem to be getting stuck with a lot of food in their mouth. If you come here and you've got a whole bunch of food, then you're going to have to pick it up and store it, or go ahead and try and then actually trash a lot of it. Trust me, you're not going to need 2,000 pieces of obviously rotten food. But yeah, there's some sort of issue. It's been there for a while actually. The red ants do kind of mingle around this spot. Feels like there's meant to be a cave entrance that they try and get into. So that's one thing you need to do. Pop a chest down, try and pick up all the pieces, put it inside the chest or inside your inventory and go ahead and destroy the whole stack. Then on top of that, try and build around the area. Foundations, grass walls, grass floors, anything to stop the ants maybe coming to that spot. It's not 100% clear exactly what's causing it. I have seen a bunch of comments now though stating that it's happened around day 40 on a fresh play. Whereas a lot of other people with saves that have been played for a while reportedly haven't had too many issues with it. So although it's critical, it's not affecting everyone. Whereas the thing with the actual crashing of the game whenever you use the auto sort button, that was affecting a lot more players judging by the amount of comments I saw. So if grounded's looking like a slideshow, then that's the main reason. It's the anthills that you need to go and check, clear out any of the food. Not just the black anthill, but the red anthill, as well as obviously the fire one. And on top of that, one of the things I highlighted last night in my video talking about problems and issues was the Mantis boss fight. Did you know that if you haven't got a custom world, you can still change the game difficulty and it doesn't affect your achievements? So as long as your game's not a custom game mode, or you don't change it to a custom game mode, your achievements will be fine. You can go ahead and just change the actual difficulty. Obviously just go to game settings and put it on whatever you want. Why are you going to do this? Well, this will help massively if you're experiencing lag fighting the Mantis. It's not ideal, it's not perfect, I'm not saying it is. Obviously you want to fight the Mantis fair and square, and you don't want any real big issues in doing so. But if you are for some reason just really stuck or bottlenecked and you just want to get past or get whatever you get from it without your Xbox particularly crashing or blowing up, then you might want to consider just completing it on mild, for the time being at least, until it's hot fixed, and then come back again. There's plenty of reasons to actually come back for the Mantis. If you want to get the Mantis trinket, then you've only got like a 1% drop from it, so you're going to have to take it on lots and lots. But yeah, this is a workaround at the moment. In particular is this pollen shot that usually activates about 25% of the way to go, 30% maybe. This is what's breaking a lot of the game, or making things considerably slower, particularly on Xbox and even on PC. You can see my frame rates are dropping massively and I'm running a 3090 with like a 109 KK Intel processor. A pretty good one. But if you got it on mild, then obviously it's going to be a lot quicker just to hurry up and kill it. And once it's dead, that's it. Everything will be fixed. So this was actually compiled mostly by one of my good rat bags, Spicy, aka Invite, and Chillax, the Wiki Master. We've done a lot of work in the past going through files, looking at upcoming content that may or may not have ever come, as well as looking at different weapons and arms and stuff. By now you should be pretty familiar with the weapons. That's usually a given, that you'll know which each one of these kind of damage it does. They generally tell you when you're looking in the menus with the little symbol propping up next to it. There's a few edge cases where some of them don't always exactly show, but you get the idea. Spears are always going to do stabbing damage. One-handed and two-handed swords, as well as daggers, are going to do slashing. Axes are going to do chopping, and hammers are going to do busting. But did you know that enemies and creatures have their own actual stats as well? They don't simply just do attacks to you, they do their own actual buffs. Like, it's pretty obvious that ladybird larvae do burning damage, and some creatures you know that they're going to do like explosive damage if they're infected. But really getting to grips with this and knowing what the mutations help with, you can have a much better time at defeating certain creatures. So if we take a look at this, we can see that black ant soldiers, black ant workers, pretty much all of the actual ants in the game, as well as stink bugs, termites, larvae and ladybugs all do chopping damage. This means that if you're fighting any of these creatures, you could use them to kite and actually break a lot of the grass around you. Now, of course, a lot of these creatures have their own weaknesses against damage types. Black ants particularly are weak against stabbing, but they are resistant to chopping. So why is this really useful? Does it matter what kind of damage type these creatures do? Well, actually, yes, particularly when it comes to spicy safety mutation. The spicy safety mutation you get by eating chunks of the spicy candy, and it's meant to give you extra protection against stabbing as well as smashing. But until now, I don't think everyone has realised exactly what type of creatures actually deal that damage. So right now, if you're going to be going up against bees, black ox beetles, black widowlings, bombardier beetles, diving bell spiders, the hedge broodmother, mosquito, orb weaver junior, spiderling, spiny water fleas, tiger mosquitoes or regular water fleas, you'll know they all do stabbing damage, and so your spicy safety is going to protect you even more. Likewise, antlions, black ox beetles again, ladybirds, roly-polies, ruz-T, sickly roly-poly, stinkbug and tase-T, they also deal smashing damage. So if you're coming up against any of these creatures and you've unlocked the mutation of spicy safety, you may want to start using it more than you thought. And again, it might seem obvious, if creatures maybe have pincers and stuff like that, you would assume they might do something like stabbing damage. And again, when you think about it, bees have their stingers, black ox beetles have their horns, so it might be a given that you think that these do actual stabbing damage. What's more of a surprise to me is things like the black widowlings. Not to mention the rest of the spiders. Yes, they have fangs. I just figured it'd be generic damage type. And then again, with smashing, then yeah, you expect things like roly-poly to do smashing damage. Possibly ladybirds as well. But antlions? Stink bugs? Or even tase-Ts? So that's the big takeaway from this updated wiki page. If you're using spicy safety, you now know that it's going to help a lot with smashing and stabbing. So burn these creatures into your brains anytime you go up against them to equip that mutation. Now, of course, smashing damage is different from the regular busting damage. Although they seem very similar, this is why you're not going to be able to break nodes with any of these creatures. But for sure, anything that deals chopping damage, that will help you clear out some of the grass areas and possibly even tier 2 or tier 3 resources. It's been a long held myth that spicy safety would also help protect you against explosive damage, and it appears that one of the early versions of it did indeed seemingly reduce some of the damage that you took. But apparently that got patched a while ago. But repeatedly I've seen in videos and guides online, a lot of people still claim that it helps against explosive damage, when it simply just doesn't according to the patch notes. I guess the only other thing to say is, if you didn't realise already, fresh defense also is going to protect you, obviously not just against bombardier beetles, but termites as well as the fireworker ants. But now on to the really exciting stuff. This post was made by Blurable. Let's make sure I put a thumbs up here. He's compiled a spreadsheet of all of the different armor types, exactly the defenses, the damage reduction, obviously what type they are, not to mention their bonuses. Now we've had some of these pop up over the last couple of years, but this is obviously the most up to date, including all the brand new armors. So again, the reason I don't get too caught up with some of this stuff is because it does get changed. Whether it's damage reductions or durability or defense stats sometimes, we've frequently seen some of these be revamped. But like I said, now 1.0 is here, we've had a few hotfixes. I think it's a bit safer to say that this is where they're at the moment. So how useful is this? Well, now you can start really effectively planning out your builds. Go into creative, put a bunch of stuff on, make sure it's fully upgraded, and you'll get a much more sense of what you want to actually do in your main game. Especially with some of the actual resources needed to upgrade your materials, i.e. your weapons and armors and stuff, taking a long time to grind for. So now you can really start planning out stuff and see if it's a build for you. So obviously I will leave the link to this Reddit post in the comment section down below. Bottom line, it's quick to see that the roly-poly Antline Black Ox Fire Ant, as well as the Assassin's Mantis chestplate and the Mothrobe set, not to mention a new Black Widow, all of them chest pieces are going to give you 20 defense. And again, these are all stats that you can more or less see in game, but it's just nice to see them all in one table. What I find quite odd is that the ones that give the most defense, we've got 3 medium sets and 3 light sets, but only 1 heavy set. I always thought of defense as being something quite slow and tanky, but in actual fact, the majority of the arm sets that you get allow you to move around utilising stamina better. If you want to conserve having to repair a lot of your armors, then you can click the salt and you get a good sign of exactly how much durability they all have. So things like the Black Ant, Ladybug, the Diving Gear, the Black Ox, Roly-Poly and the Ladybug sets all have 100 durability. So they will last a lot longer than others. Especially for noobs out there, of course, that maybe don't realise this. Things like the Aphid Slippers have obviously got the shortest amount of durability, but the Wizard's Hat is pretty bad when it comes to it. But the Marksman's Cap as well only has 30, whereas the Firefly Headlamp has 30 as well, which is surprising given it's a heavy piece of gear. What this is also useful is really showing you not to really upgrade rotten armor sets. When you look at the Rotten Roly-Poly set here, the durability of it is 35, but a normal Roly-Poly set is 100. So more than double, obviously, the amount of durability. Again, we know things like defense, it's only slightly worse than the full gear. 18 for the Rotten Roly-Poly set and 20 for the normal. And again, it's pretty obvious, but don't spend too much time upgrading rotten versions. And I guess finishing off with this, what it really shows to me is how effective some of the early game armors still are. Things like the Ladybug and the Roly-Poly, both giving high values in defense and damage reduction, as always, maximum durability, and pretty decent stats. The next tab over also details a whole bunch of stuff about the effects, exactly how much they heal, how long it takes to heal in certain things, and just exactly what buffs you get and how much the modifiers affect stuff. So definitely take a look at this. Again, it'll all be in the comment section down below. So there we go. Hopefully that's helped. Hopefully it becomes redundant pretty quick, because I'm sure there will be hotfixes on the way and a lot of stability will be brought back to grounded. It has had a bit of a rough time last couple of weeks, no doubt about it, but I do reckon devs are on it and they will get this fixed. So until next time, Ratbags, I'll catch you later.